Matic Network, bringing us scalable and instant blockchain transactions. Welcome back to BitAssist, everyone. Today I'm going to bring you a presentation on Matic Network. I'm sure a lot of you have seen on CoinMarketCap, it's made some substantial gains recently, and there's a lot of interest in Matic Network. I must say, stick around for this one. I'm very, very excited by Matic Network. Quickly, what is Matic Network? It's a layer 2 scaling solution. It's built upon a modified version of Plasma and uses proof of stake chains to scale Ethereum to mass adoption. It's backed by COINBASE Ventures and just recently did its initial exchange offering on, of course, Binance. By the way, thank you to Lashab. Sorry if I mispronounced that, mate. Putting Matic on my radar and, of course, asking us to do this review. So, for all of you that are looking for reviews, make sure to comment on our videos and we'd be happy to look at some of the trending protocols. Cool. So, the Matic Token. Of course, I want to start with the token. A lot of you that are looking at these reviews are wanting to know what's the usefulness of this token? What might it be useful to me to make an investment in? Of course, this is not investment advice. But let's take it from the top. So the Matic Token, otherwise known as MTX, will enable participation in the proof of stake consensus mechanism and be used to pay mining rewards to the proof of stake stakers and any transaction fees, otherwise known as gas. So it's got some serious utility for fees. Of course, it's got rewarding for staking as well. So that's a tick. It raised $5 million via an IEO on Binance. That was in April of this year. It sold 1.9 billion tokens, which is roughly 19% of its supply. The token price was $0.0263. Its all-time high got as high as $0.45. So that's almost a 10x, or just over a 10x, which is insane gains for such a short period of time. All of you that got in on this, well done. For you that haven't, don't worry. The price has receded downward. And of course, I'm sure there'll be a lot more opportunities to get involved and some serious gains on Matic. Its market cap at its highest point, which was in, I think, 21st of April, was 95 million. So still fairly small. Its highest one-day volume was enormous, 475 million. In terms of its private sale, the private sale was the same price as its public sale, which is unusual. The allocation to the private sale is 1.7% of the supply. The seed round, which COINBASE Ventures took part in, the token price was 0.00079. So really, really cheap. Coinbase, of course, have done incredibly well on this seed investment. The seed allocation for that round was 2.09% of the supply. So far, it's released its testnet and Plasma MVP of Q3 of last year. Testnet version 2 is in Q1 this year. And mainnet is scheduled for the last quarter of this year. So they've already built a huge amount. It's already working in testnet. They've already got products like their wallet working, which we'll come on to just shortly. So what are the features of Matic Network? So it's scalability and throughput. It can do up to 65,000 transactions per second on a single Matic chain and can scale to millions of transactions a second on multiple side chains. So quickly, if you don't get the idea of Matic Network, it allows for dApp users or merchants to use the Ethereum blockchain, but at a much, much higher rate. It's a scaling solution that works with Ethereum to allow people to use Ethereum, much like, let's say, EOS or industrial solutions today in the real world. It focuses a lot on user experience. So because it's a layered solution that works incredibly fast, it's got fast and smooth interactions between the Matic sidechain and Ethereum's main chain. It's also developed a native mobile app, which is beautiful to see. I do recommend taking a look at that. And an amazing developer SDK. So the user experience from the research I've done is very important to Matic, which I think is great for mass adoption. One day it will have asset interoperability, meaning that there'll be exchanges between any asset really. So interoperable assets on different side chains across multiple blockchains. So this won't just be used for Ethereum in the long term. This will be able to be used across multiple cryptocurrencies or multiple blockchains. So that's really exciting. And one of the major factors that I like about this right now is that it's looking to connect DeFi finance. So trying to be like the hub between all these different DeFi finance applications to make sure that these DeFi applications are able to scale and are to be used by the large majority and by today's finance. So what I've written here is to host and connect leading DeFi applications. So scalability, user experience, interoperability, and to connect today's DeFi finance. These are the features and things that Matic are doing and looking to do. Let's take a look now at some of the use cases that will be used for Matic Network. So it will be used for payments, of course. There will be a payment API and SDK for dApps and merchants to accept payments in under 1 second with significantly lower fees. So right now, obviously, Ethereum's fairly slow. It's having to have quite large amounts of gas. What Matic is doing is going to allow for dApp users to interact with the Ethereum blockchain or the Matic sidechain and to be able to do transactions basically immediately and for very, very, very little. It's going to be working with decentralized exchanges. So it'll be a layer solution for decentralized exchanges so they don't need to settle on chain. When decentralized exchanges are fairly slow and sometimes not incredibly safe because you have to handle private keys and all the rest, but what Matic allows is for transactions to be settled immediately on the side chain and then later on, 5 minutes later, to then be settled with finality on the Ethereum blockchain. This allows for reliable, faster, and cheaper decentralized exchanges. So this is a very exciting part of Matic. Imagine the growth of decentralized exchanges over the next 18 months. I'm sure a lot of them that are building on Ethereum will be using Matic to be allowed in their backend to make transactions faster and cheaper. Gaming, of course, we'll see a lot of the dApps today are gaming. There are huge amounts of transactions in gaming, maybe like gambling. And then, of course, in-game assets will allow for Matic will be allowed for in-game assets to scale, to get your in-game assets almost immediately. And, of course, for the efficiency of buying and selling these in-game assets. Other use cases are atomic swaps. So you'll be able to pay in any token and the receiver will be able to receive in any token of their choice. So let's say, for example, you've only got Ethereum, but the person you're paying wants 0x. You'll be able to pay in Ethereum and that will atomic swap into 0x or any token of that person's choice. What's quite cool is that it'll be used for lending and credit. The Matic network will assess credit worthiness via amount of transactions. This will enable merchants to lend to certain people. So the way I see it probably going forward is that multiple transactions from one person will show like a credit history, and that will allow for certain merchants to be able to give some people or some users, maybe in-dApp users, some credit. So that's quite interesting. And then, of course, identity, which is very important. If you're going to be using dApps or applications, you want some sort of identity solution. They've got something called an open identity system in the Matic network, which allows for users to interact with dApps without having to use private keys. So very, very cool use cases. And I think these are use cases that all of us need today that are dApp users or that are developers. So they've developed already the Matic wallet, which is available for download at the App Store or on the Google Play Store. You can pretty much hold a large majority of ERC20 tokens as well as non-fungible tokens, which is really cool, like collectibles. So you've got instant Ethereum asset transfers, simplified user interface. Like I said, they find the user experience very important. And then you're able to interact with dApps without sharing your private keys. So what's really cool here is that, let's say with this application, is that, let's say you're on your browser on your phone, sorry, on your browser on your computer, and you're wanting to play some sort of dApp. Right now, what usually happens is you have to download MetaMask, accept MetaMask, and then continue playing. Every time you want to do transaction, MetaMask pops up, you have to select accept. Basically, what the Matic wallet allows is that it stores your private key in your device, so in your mobile, and then when the application or dApp pops up on your computer and you want to play with it, you scan a QR code, and that just gives the dApp rights or gives the dApp access to use your funds, or for you to use your funds in the dApp. You don't have to keep on, like accessing MetaMask. So really, really cool. It's also, of course, easy to use, intuitive design, and allows for crypto transfers. It's also got integration with Wallet Connect. So like I've just said earlier on, you can interact with dApps using a QR code. Trustless and secure, so they never store your private keys. You're in complete control of your private keys on your device. And then, of course, the app supports the Matic Network. So manage and transfer tokens on Matic sidechains, just like Ethereum, instantly. So yeah, for you that want to go check that out, you can go download that now on iOS and the Play Store. I'm not certain if you can get access, but there is beta access, I do believe. So how does Matic work then? So a user deposits crypto assets into the Matic contract on the main chain, so Ethereum. Once deposited, tokens get confirmed on the main chain. The corresponding tokens will get reflected on the Matic chain. Then the user can transfer tokens to anyone they want instantly and with fairly or pretty much no fees. Then, once a user is ready, they can withdraw the remaining tokens from the main chain by establishing a proof of the remaining tokens from the contract deployed on the Ethereum chain. So this image shows here how it works. So there's 3 layers to the Matic protocol. There will be the Ethereum mainnet, of course. Then there's this checkpoint nodes or proof of stake nodes, which is known as the deposit bridge. And then lastly is the Matic sidechain, which has the block producers on it. So what happens is that you deposit your Ethereum or your tokens into the deposit bridge or into the checkpoint nodes, and then into the Matic sidechain. And at that time, you can transact instantly across any Ethereum asset or between another Matic user, which is really, really awesome. So yeah, I hope that's helped everybody. That's the end of the presentation. If you've enjoyed this, make sure to like it. If you think it's going to help somebody else to learn more about Matic, make sure to share it. And of course, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.